Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy, NerdMode, and welcome to episode 8 of Battle Reports, a video series where I'll be going over weapons in Battlefield 4 and breaking down the statistics of the weapon to provide you guys with a better idea of how the weapon is going to perform. So without further ado, let's get started. So for today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the M16A4. Now this weapon does have a rounds per minute of 800, which is actually sufficiently pretty high when it comes down to it, and it allows you to get a lot of ammunition downrange and hopefully drop some targets in the process. Now alongside that information, you're going to have the velocity clocking in at 650 meters a second, which is actually pretty high when it comes down to it. That means you don't have to compensate as much for moving or long range targets, and it makes it a little bit easier to hit those targets, especially at those longer range distances. So transferring your guys' eyes over to the damage model, you'll notice that this weapon does a maximum damage of 25 damage up until 8 meters. However, after 8 meters, you're going to see a gradual decline of the damage being outputted at range, and eventually you're going to get to 55 meters where the minimum damage is listed as 18. Now, of course, with that talked about, let's take a quick look at the magazine size as well as the reload speed to give you guys a better idea of how this weapon is going to perform, especially when it comes to reloading the weapon as well as the capacity that the magazines uphold. Now, starting things off on the reload speeds, you guys will notice that the M16A4 does have a short reload of 1.8 seconds as well as a long reload of 2.37 seconds if you happen to expel all your ammunition. Now, alongside that information, the magazine for the M16A4 is a 30 round magazine plus one in the chamber. Of course, you add those both together and you're going to get 31 rounds total, which is actually pretty sufficient for a burst fire weapon. And finally, the last piece of information to discuss is the overall recoil numbers, considering that these are the most prevalent information that you guys will run into contact with, considering that most of you guys will either be suppressing the opposition or downing some players in the process, and you're going to run into this contacted information every time you pull the trigger. So of course, taking a look at the horizontal numbers, you guys will notice that this weapon does have a left pole of 0.1 as well as a right pole of 0.4. Now alongside that, you do have the vertical recoil clocking in at 0.28, which is pretty low when it comes down to it. However, this weapon does have a first shot multiplier of 2.5, considering that it is a burst fire only weapon. But anyway guys, that's all the information when it comes down to the M16A4. Of course, if you guys would like to recommend a weapon for next week, feel free to let me know in the comments below. But until the next episode guys, I will see you then, and this has been NMO, and I'm going to be signing out guys. Peace.